Hi, I'm Lee Gatiss and welcome to Lee on the Lectionary, and we'll be looking this week at the lectionary readings for Proper 23, the week known as Proper 23, and those readings are Jeremiah 29 verses 1 to 7, 2 Timothy 2 verses 8 to 15, and Luke 17 verses 11 to 19. In each of the readings this week, the people of God are found in uncomfortable places. Jeremiah writes to the exiles of Judah who find themselves in Babylon, the enemy's capital city. His message to them is surprising. Seek the welfare of that city. They are not to sit around moping or hoping that the exile will end soon. It will not. They are there for the long haul. Just as the people increased and multiplied when they were in Egypt after the days of Joseph, so now they are to increase outside the land in the days of Nebuchadnezzar. Building houses and planting gardens are both endeavours that take more than a little planning and significant amounts of time. So the Lord's command is to settle down, not panic, and build something that will last. Now the worry, of course, is that by doing this, they will appear to be abandoning all thought of returning home to Jerusalem, or even that they will be aiding and abetting the enemy. They may find themselves swallowed up or indoctrinated by an alien culture inimical to their covenant with the Lord. The challenge, as always, for the people of God away from their true home is to be a positive force for good in the place that the Lord has put them, without losing sight of the impermanence of that world and their citizenship in another. Jesus' journey to Jerusalem takes him through the most alien territory of Samaria in the Gospel reading this week. Yet even in this uncomfortable, almost alien place, he finds the sort of faith that puts Israel to shame. 10 lepers, keeping their distance, cry out to him for mercy and healing. 10 lepers are healed and restored to their communities, yet only one, and he, a Samaritan, returns to say thank you. Now, there's more than a lesson here about minding your P's and Q's, your pleases and your thank yous. It is not just a story about etiquette. After all, Jesus told the others to go, and so actually it might have seemed disobedient to come back. The lesson here is that our salvation rests entirely on the work of God, so praise and glory are due to him. The man in the story is not the good Samaritan, but the God-glorifying Samaritan. From him we learn to prostrate ourselves at Jesus' feet for all that he has done to save us. That is, true faith is displayed in gratitude. It doesn't focus on ourselves and what we might contribute, but on the one who has mercy to the undeserving. In the epistle this week, the Apostle Paul is in a stinking, dirty, shameful prison cell, on trial for his life because of his public preaching of the gospel. Like the Lord Jesus himself, he suffers hardship and rejection by the world for the sake of the elect and their salvation. If we died with Christ, we will live with him. Our lives are bound up in the death of a crucified Messiah, a crucified Master who called us to follow him. Comfort is not something that we should expect ever as Christians. Anyone who wants to live a godly life as opposed to a quiet one will be persecuted. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 12. Timothy is told to remind his congregation of these truths, for a time is coming when he and they will be tempted to self-censorship for the sake of an easy life. In such a context, they are to put aside the unedifying word battles which do not strengthen faith, but only ruin it. Rather, Timothy is to handle the word of truth correctly and to aspire to be a faithful and solid worker whose teaching builds something that will last. Faithful disciples of the suffering servant who died and rose again.